thinking about what this 21st century economy is, and I don't think that we're going to be in an environment where we go and somehow retrieve all those jobs that left and bring them all back here, but we think differently about the kinds of jobs that we're creating. And even in the best of all circumstances, most kids graduating from high school not going to college, but they need to do something. And they need to be skilled up and trained to do the jobs for the future. One of the bills, we passed so many spending bills recently, but in the omnibus appropriations bill, we put I think about $500 million into investments in Job Corps and other kinds of programs to train young people to do 21st century jobs. In my district, one of our Job Corps centers that takes some of our most difficult young people to train them is teaching them how to install and maintain solar panels. But I would like them to be building those solar panels here in the United States. And so I think that when we talk about a new manufacturing sector, that new manufacturing sector can't just be the retread of what manufacturing was in the 19th and 20th century, because we'll still be left behind. And it also means that the 80%, whatever the number is, it's a pretty significant number of students coming out of high school need to go into vocational and technical schools, go into apprenticeship programs, use our community colleges not just to produce people who are pushing paper around, but who are actually building things and working on stuff. And I think we can do that. And so I want to kind of end the panel in a way on a higher note, because it does feel like a bit of a downer. And I don't think it has to be. And I think the role that you play in describing what this new economy looks like is really important. There's been so much language around quote-unquote green jobs, and I'm going to tell you something. You can go to any main street in this country and nobody can tell you what a darn green job is. And so you all have to tell us what green jobs are, where they'll be, what kind of jobs will be created, what the skill base will be that'll be needed for that, and how it fuels our economy for the 21st century. Begin to tell that story, and trust me, people will embrace the idea that their kids are actually going to get out of high school and get jobs that will allow them to take care of themselves and their families. And then finally, I want to say, I introduced a bill that is to raise the minimum wage for tipped employees, waiters, waitresses who work on tips. Right now, they make the federal minimum wage has been increased in, I don't know, 20 years, something like that, and they make $2.13 an hour. But around this country, there are people now who are adults, who are young adults, older adults, working for tips, who used to work in the manufacturing sector. And I want to increase the wages for those folks, but my God, you cannot take an $18, $25 an hour job and replace it with a $2.13 an hour job and hope to build this country. And call it a job. And so we have a lot of work to do, but the biggest part of that for you and for all of us is to start educating the American people about what our dream is for manufacturing for the 21st century, and that it's reality-based, and that it's not about, jumping back to the 1950s. Some of us actually didn't fare so well in the 1950s, and so we really don't want to go back.